Anyway, good afternoon, everybody. Thanks for joining us. Let's just have a look at the chat. We're good, Christella. We're good. Obviously, Charlotte's here now, so that's that's always really, really helpful. So this is really a follow-on webinar from last week, and I know that most of you that are here were actually here with us last week. I think there's one person that wasn't here last week, so we're just taking it a step further. That we talked about data and personalization, and now it's targeting and segmentation. And I'm going to put a disclaimer out straight away. Targeting and segmentation is effectively the same thing, but it's called different labels within the Munich system, which is why we've included both. It's not complicated like it sounds, but anyway. So, there you go. Look at that, Charlotte. You're going to move us up to the top again. So, yeah, this is what we're going to cover today. And I say it is as normal, mainly Charlotte doing the technical stuff. I'm going to just do this data reminder of what it is. This missed something. Sorry, I'm just going to get rid of what's not needed. We're just going to go back over what data and then segmentation by user data. Again, you can read this, but that's what we're going to go through. So I'm just going to see before we go in. I just want to see if we've got any more people come in. Yeah, Jennifer. I think you were in our last webinar. It's not like naming and shaming.
Well, I am going to say your name.
Well, you live, and you can get this on replay as well. So this is really the recap of what we talked about last week about the data that you can have. We've actually expanded our own database. We haven't put what we have put in actually is data the last item purchased, and we're going to show you live how you can use this data now, really about how you can segment your emails using this data. So again, I'm not going to go through this because we did do it last week, and Jennifer, it is up on our YouTube channel if you want to watch it. So just get to that chat. Hang on. Yeah, it's on our YouTube channel, so it's Munich Mail on YouTube, and we do put these up there if you do want to. You haven't got the link, whatever. Anyway,
and I'm going to share my screen.
Yes, over to you.
So, targeting and segmentation. The best way.
I just thought I've got a rude cup.
Is it your favourite rude cup?
Okay, I'll just do
that. We'll blur it for YouTube. So, targeting and segmentation is effectively a different way to use your data than what we were covering last week, but it all does come back down to data, as Teresa's just been saying. So with your personalization, it's going to use data to change the content of your email, but targeting segmentation allows you to control who you send emails to.
And they can be used in combination, obviously. So what you're putting in the email can be personalised, but you're actually segmenting who you send emails to, just to clarify.
Yeah, exactly. So to get to our targeting and segmentation, it's all to do with data, which takes us straight into our list section. And we have two different ways of doing targeting. Is one, I can click on this targeting tab, and I can go up here to new user segment. And by default, this will mean that I'm searching across all users in my Munich Mail account. However, if I'm looking to target on a specific list, you may find it easier going into the Lists and Users tab, clicking on the list you want, and then going to the new foot up here. Oh, we're in the way button again. Just going to move us down. Down to the bottom. And so what that will do then is that it will pre-populate the list preferences part of the targeting screen with the list that you've selected from.
Can you run through that again? Only because it was like
Okay,
this.
yeah, sure. So we've got two ways to start targeting. One, click on targeting here, and then go to new users. The difference is it doesn't auto-populate with any lists that you're, so it's searching by default your entire user database.
Yeah, there might be a case for doing that.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
yeah, absolutely. But if you are looking to target users who are on a specific list to begin with, you might find it easier going to that list itself and then clicking new user segment. The only difference is it repopulates with that list that you were starting from. Okay, so when it comes to it, you've then got 5 different core options, which are, if you might like an Excel spreadsheet, are the equivalent of sort and filter options. And here we can list, user data, campaign, tags, and addresses.
Okay, so kind of that's the question now. So it's got lists there. So what's the difference?
So there is no difference. It's just the way I did it the second time around, it meant that it defaulted to I'm going to be searching for people on this list. But if I wanted to, I could still get rid of that list. I can still add more lists.
Right, okay. So okay.
Yeah. So
you wanted to add
yeah, let's do that right now. So I'll click on the list. It brings up this here modal. And then from there, I can choose the list that I'm searching on. I only actually have a couple of lists in this demo account at the moment. But say I want to go to, I want to search across my form signups as well. I go to include you.
And just looking at that, if you went to the default, you could then do it the other way and take lists out.
Exactly.
Yeah. It's just different ways to, I'm not going to say the saying because it's offensive, really. Yeah. Different ways of doing things.
Yes. There's lots of different ways to get to the same result. So the thing you need to be mindful of when looking at this section is you've got this here, rule match condition, where it says include users where any of these results match. Or you can choose include users where all of these rules match. So in sort of a data understanding, the difference is the equivalent of one is an or function and the other is an and function. So any of these rules means if they are a member of demo list or form signups. However, if I want to be searching of people who are on both individual lists, only people who are on both lists, I change that to all. So that's the difference between and or function. So as well as that, you can see I've got the list here. Now, if I want to change it up, well, I want to search for people who are on the demo list, but I specifically do not want to include anyone on the form sign-up list. What I can do then is click on that, and instead of hitting the include users button, I go to exclude users. And then what that does, it takes it out of there, and you can see it's put it in this excluded users.
It's the same way to doing one task, isn't it? Different ways of doing one task.
Yeah. I mean, because it's a demo data, it's hard to build up like a full use case picture, but it might be, let's say you want to think of it in terms of location. Let's say you've got a list of people who are, say, Welsh customers and a list of people who are English customers, or maybe you've got multiple sites. You've got a site in Wales, a site in England. Yeah. You want to have a list of people who bought from the Wales site and a list of people who bought from the English site, and you specifically only want to target people who have bought in Wales. If they've bought in both Wales and England, you don't want to search for them. That might be an easy way to think of it, those kinds of differences. Okay. So what this screen does is essentially builds up quite a niche way of you seeing how you search for your data. So we've got our lists that were included and the ones that were excluded. And now, if I go to my user data, all that data that we set up in the past, we have the opportunity to query, to build a targeted picture of our list audiences. So in the data field, we could see all of the user profile fields, the standard ones that we've got, But then we've got our custom fields here.
Yeah.
So if I go, for example, to our lipstick shade, which is one that we set up last week, for those who weren't in attendance, I know it's a strange custom field, but there was a story. And let's say I want to search now for anybody who has a lipstick shade of tomato red. So
yeah, so you do need to know what you've got.
Yes, precisely. When it comes to tech, but equally, you can see I've got matches here. So that's if I know exactly it's tomato. However, if I change this, I could then go to contains. So if I could just type in red then.
Yeah.
So
any form of red.
Yeah, any form of red. So it might be cherry red, tomato red.
I think they've only got tomato red in there.
Either way, if it did have cherry red in there, it would also bring that too. So what I've done there is I've added that in, I've gone to the bottom and hit count. And I did do that very quickly.
And you know what to say, don't you?
Do it again. That's
Do
exactly
again.
what you say.
Yeah, do it again. Did that when nobody was looking.
I don't know, I was talking about something else.
Yeah.
Extra noise.
She just goes on towards my hand.
I'm sorry.
You want to work with me?
Right, so I'll do it again. So I'm going to go to user data. I'm going to scroll down to my custom field of lipstick shade. Text contains red. And I'm going to include those users. And then at the bottom, I've got this count users function. And when I click that, it whirs away at the top and it's going back and it's matching all of your records. Now, we have a very small data set on this demo account.
People in it.
Yeah.
It's all our emails. It's just mine and Charlotte's emails. We've been getting lots of emails.
Yeah. So if your database contains thousands of users, it might take a while, and especially if you're also doing a particularly complex function. So here now, it's found that there are 3 users there. And if I scroll down, it can tell you exactly what it found. So it started by looking at members of the demo list where it found 11 users. It found lipstick shade, contains red, and it found 3, removed 8. And then it made sure that none of them were on the form sign-up list, and it didn't find any, so no users were removed there. And then lastly, importantly, it checked the global suppression list. So that means that if it found any users who have opted out of campaigns, it will then remove those automatically. And so from there, it's come up with 3 people.
Right. I'm going to give this some context as well. So we put this lipstick colour in that we talked about last week. This could be, we're looking really, how we're looking at this is if somebody's purchased from us, and it could be if somebody purchased from you. So if you've got that data coming in, what they last purchased, so it could be purchased, I don't know, paint, they purchased something, anything. It could be a service, it could be anything, but if you've got that data in there, so you might want, as we did talk about this, you know, you purchased it, you now might like this. So that's how that would work. You purchased this, you might like this. You purchased this before, you've run out, we've got data, I know you're going to put data in there, the date of your last purchase was here, you've run out, you want this. So that's, again, it's how you use data as well, isn't it? As much as how you do this. It's the situations that you'll find, you go, well, what would that be useful for? We have got some other fields that we're going to fill in as well to sort of help.
Yeah, this is just the core of how this screen works that we're running through. Well, the next thing is, so it's found these 3 records, what do we do with them now? So I'm going to talk you through these options here, because by default, everyone goes to the button and they want to export them to a list. But if you're not looking to put them onto a new list, let's say you just want to query them, if you click this icon here, it will bring up the first 20 users so that you can see who they might be. So that's a good way of just examining the data before you do anything else with it.
Yeah, because on that list as well.
Yeah, apparently, Becca likes tomato red lipstick as well.
Whether you don't even do that.
So the other thing we can do is hit download users, and that will create an export of a CSV file that you can then take away again. But at the core, when most people are doing targeting, what they're doing is they're looking to put them onto a list so that they can send further campaigns to them. So to do that, we do hit the button. And we've got two options here. One is to create a brand new list, and the other one is to merge onto an existing list. They're quite self-explanatory in that if I want to create a new list, I would put the list name in here. So let's call it lipstick shade equals red. However, the other option is that if I toggle to this, it will ask me to choose the name of an existing list in the system, and I can export them there. And at this point, I can also tag users, which can be quite helpful because then it's creating a trail of how I got them onto that list, like beyond having to look into the depths of the system to find.
Yeah, so for my benefit as well, really. So what would you suggest you put in that? If you were to merge it into a list and then you want to add the tag, what might be?
You could choose multiple at this point.
I only want one.
What would you choose? That's an on-the-spot question.
It is an on-the-spot question because it's almost, well, it's like, because you want real use. I haven't got an answer, guys. I'm asking, would you be then, because it's, remember, if a data field, the text can change because you can upload new data, but with a tag, it doesn't change.
Well, I think because we're dealing with this fanciful
lipstick
shade, it sort of becomes harder. But again, if we were targeting based on location.
Okay, so would that tag be per type or something?
Yeah. Or let's say I'm targeting based on people in Chester, I might put Chester and then today's date or something, so I knew that they were
at that point. Yeah. Okay, have you got any questions with that? Do you have to add them to a list in order to send a campaign? Well, obviously, Mark, I presume you wrote that question before Charlotte started showing you how to do it, because I wasn't looking.
Do you have to add them to a list to send a campaign? So yes, send them to the target. There is a different way in which you can exclude people when sending campaigns.
Carry on with the way you're going. Don't tell me something else now.
Okay, I won't. So what we're going to do? Okay, I'm going to build up to answering Mark's question. How about that? So in this case, we're going to create a new list, and we're going to do a lipstick shade equals red. I'm not going to tag them, but I will export them, and then it takes you to the import screen. So the good thing about this is that it's a way to filter data without having to download it,
and upload
process it, reload it.
Right.
So in answer to Mark's question now, if I didn't want to generate...
Sorry, all off camera.
If I didn't want to have to continually target different people on the regular, what I can do is, let's say when I'm going to send a campaign, so this is the challenge that we did last week. So I can send campaign, and I can go under my list selection, and I can say, well, I want to send it to all of my demo users, and I want to include those people, but I have already pre-selected my lipstick shade, and I specifically do not want to send it to those people.
Right. See, you can see this is live now, and it's like, why would you bother doing that? Getting your list, downloading it, uploading it, doing whatever you do, and then you're going and send it to them.
It's Mark's question. I don't know.
It's like, I add them to a list in order to send a campaign. Yes, the answer is.
But there is a way that you don't need to do it, is what I'm saying. Right. So we've done our...
Put them in. Okay, Jennifer's struggling because of the echo.
Oh, is there an echo?
I'm on mute.
I too. Is your speaker muted?
Well, I've only got one button that says speaker. Yeah, thanks for that. But, there was a speaker on monitor, wasn't there?
Yeah, that won't be working. We're going to break the illusion now.
It's going to come here. That way. Oh, that way, that way. It's you.
We go. Hopefully that will improve it.
Okay, I don't know what she did. Oh, it sounds better. It sounds better. Oh, that's good. Yeah,
I'm a wizard.
It's fine now. Thank you for letting us know.
Yes.
Thank you for letting us know.
Yes. Sorry about that, guys.
Because we're just together as we would do in a room.
Yeah, I think we said a couple of webinars ago we were trying out new microphones and everything, and that one didn't work out well. So now we tried something different. So
yeah, it's different again when we're both in our corresponding home offices because and we don't have this
exactly
problem.
Right. Okay. I think I've covered stuff such as merging onto the same list, merging onto new lists. And the important thing to remember is once you've got those lists, especially if you're doing fairly specialist targeting and you've created a list, some people only tend to want to use it once or twice to send a specific campaign. And then they might go back to continuing to use their main list. So let's say I only want to send a specific campaign to lipstick shade equals red once or twice. I've got an excess of red lipstick, so
yeah, we bought a bulk buy.
Exactly.
Special offer.
But now I've done my special offer, I'm going to go back to continuing using my main demo list in this case. What we find that users tend to forget is that once you put a list together, by default, a countdown starts. And that's if you don't use that list regularly, it will start, well, essentially gathering dust, which makes it eligible for the part of the automatic list cleanup. And then what will happen is, let's say 2 years time, we get another bulk of red lipstick shade and we think, oh, well, just want to use that list again. By that point, it will have expired.
It will have exterminated.
Yes, it will have been exterminated because the maximum time in which you can keep data you're not using in media is 18 months.
Note that you're not using. If you're using it on a regular basis, it stays there for as long as you're using it. It's not a problem. It's only a problem if you haven't used that particular list, and that counts for all lists, not just this. It's worth noting that. But
people don't tend to notice it with the list they're using
because it doesn't happen.
Yeah. So how do we find out what's going on? Well, if I go to the settings, I'm on the list. I've got settings, users, automation, and history. Go to the history tab. And here you will see the overview of how this list came to be. So it was updated from a targeting segment export. It's active, but here this toggle says it will be subject to the automatic data cleanup. And then here we've got the automated data cleanup date, which means that if I do nothing more with this list now, so I don't send any campaigns to it, I don't do any further targeting on it or anything, it will expire on the 5th of November 2025. Okay, so that's actually 9 months. I've reduced in our demo content from 18 months to 9 months. If you want to keep your list, though, it isn't mandatory. All you need to do is make sure that you turn this toggle to off and then hit Save Changes. And that will mean it will not be swept up as part of the data retention policies that the platform has. That's something that I would encourage everybody who watches this to go and do. Just check your important list, make sure they're not being subject to any data retention things.
Sorry, I only put my hand up because I wanted to not stop mid-word, sorry.
Oh, well, I finished my sentence.
Sorry. I'm just like, I can see when Charlotte starts going down these little holes, and while it's really, really relevant, I just want to pull her back and kind of go, can we now send a campaign?
Yeah.
With those people, and can we carry on with what you're doing?
Yeah, well, of course. Sending a campaign.
It's relevant, but
yeah, sending a campaign to your segmented list it's the same process as sending any other campaign, to be perfectly honest. So I'm going to go and I'm going to send this one, which is one that we created on a different webinar again.
Okay, but then if you edit it, so I'm just thinking, I just like the whole process. I just like the whole from start to finish. So we've got this list. It's only going to send it to people that had red lipstick. Can we maybe pull it to the last purchase or something like that?
Oh yeah,
to show it in real life.
Yes, of course.
That's all, Charlotte. That's all I meant. Sorry.
Okay, well that's absolutely fine. So, like Teresa was saying, we did we added some extra information into our sample data set that we can now have a look at. So I'm going to go back to my demo list, and I'm going to go to do another new user segment. And now I'm going to add two conditions in. So one is our lipstick shade equals red, or contains red rather. I'm going to hit include users, but I also want people who have recently bought from us. So if I go to user data, and I'm going to go to last purchase date. Now this is different. It's not text technically, it's a date. So change your data type to date, and what you will get typically are different options. So you can see now I've got is before, is after, or is between. So if I go is after, I get one field, but unsurprisingly, if I want to choose between two dates, I'll click on it and I get two fields. That sometimes throws people because they see it in the options. Yeah, anyway.
But that could be, you know, that people bought on a special offer, or you want to exclude the fact that people bought on a special offer. There's lots of reasons why you'd use that.
Yeah. So in this case, so I'm going to go after, and I'm just going to type it in, but you can use this date picker. Personally, I don't like them.
I'm not a lover.
Yeah. So again, I get to include the people who have purchased at that date. So here we've got another reminder. So we are now looking for people whose lipstick shade is red and their last purchase date is after this. So again, we're going to hit count users, and it will go away and think. Now, bearing in mind, we only had 3 people whose favourite shade
it's having a good old think, isn't it?
It's really thinking. It found nobody at all. So instead, let's go for people maybe who does not match tomato red. Oh, actually, let's do it the easier way. So contains red, we want to exclude anybody who contains red. This is where data algebra is a real thing. And if you're like me, you just love playing with fantastic combos to find out how many people meet your weird and wonderful.
We are quite grateful that not that many people are like Charlotte, but we're very grateful at Munich that Charlotte is Charlotte. Completely grateful, because her skill set absolutely sets us apart. 100%. So
basically, on both of those criteria, we've not been able to find anybody who has purchased after.
Right, so stop being. So I mean, that just goes to show we're being very specific, and actually, that's probably not a good thing either. Yeah. On our list, pick somebody and let's just do it, Charlotte.
Pick somebody.
Right. So just pick something. So if you go with the red, what I'm keen on doing as well, just because it'll give us more options, is that I know I uploaded more data, but we didn't name those fields.
Oh yes.
So if we do that, we're going to have more data to play with, if that's okay.
Yeah.
So you'll have seen that we had all these. There was custom field 4, 5, 6, and you can see there's nothing in them, but actually there is data in there. I've uploaded it. The data is in there, and now what we want to do is name those custom fields. So I can tell you now that field 4 is colour wheel. I was on a roll with colours here. 5 is communication preferred communication, doesn't really matter. And the number 6 is employment status.
We've got a really wonderful data set here.
I know. Well, it's just random, and then for some reason it's number 8, not number 7. It's the last purchase amount. So you can see what we've looked at here. So it is very random, but we've got much more data to play with. So we're going to get somebody in there. So obviously I've got what I've put in here, so I can maybe say.
Okay, excellent. So, well, that's really handy because I've just checked as well that with your last purchase amount, which is in custom field 8 for some reason, not 7, but never mind. We've got what is called here is like a number, a whole number. There are no extra characters in it. So even though the last purchase amount is actually in pounds, you've not put the pound sign, which is fantastic.
She told me not to.
I was being smooth, Teresa.
I know. I can't like pretend.
But what that does, though, is it actually turns it into a whole number. And because it's a whole number, we get extra controls on data for it, which we wouldn't do if we put a pound sign in. So if I go to my targeting now, and I'm going to go to segment, go to use data now. My new fields are there, last purchase amount. I change this to integer, which is the fancy word for number. I can go is less than, is more than, and is between. So similar to when I changed it to date, I got those extra.
If you put more than 50.
Right, put more than 50. So this is a really handy way to either identify people who perhaps are
bigger spend. I would say bigger spenders. From a marketing perspective, it's like, well, you spent over £100 this month. You can now have a voucher. Yeah. So if you don't want to give vouchers to somebody that spends under £100, it's a really easy way. And how you get this data, as I say, it will merge with your Shopify account or however it is. It might be that you manually upload the data. It depends on your business, but this data can be included, and that's what I would say. It's like, oh, you've only spent £25. We've got this offer for you that we want you to spend more money. So there's lots of ways of looking at this from a business perspective, and it's about what your business goals are as well. Really, it just works with it all.
Well, what I'm now going to do is I'm going to export these people onto a very savvy list called Hey Big Spenders. Why not?
Why not? No, why not? We've got a list of people in it. That's all I wanted to say, Charlotte. We've got a list of people in it. We're going to send them an email. But we are going to send them.
But I'm also going to show people just another little thing, because let's say I only want this list to be used a finite number of times.
Yeah.
Which is sort of the opposite to what we showed before when I showed you how to turn off the automatic cleaning.
Have it for as long as you want it.
Yeah,
sometimes this list is going to change all the time.
Yeah, exactly. So I've done this export, and it's only relevant for this specific moment in time. It could be different.
Yeah, absolutely.
So
if I red lipstick, but they won't always have spent £50.
Yeah. So importantly, I've not sent any campaigns to this list, so I could delete it. However, once we will have sent our campaign to someone on this list, we can never delete the list. We can only hide it, because otherwise we're deleting all the campaign data that goes with it. But I still want to be able to restrict its use. So under here, under advanced options, what I can do is put list usage control. So by default, it's set to unlimited use, but I could say limited use, and I could say the maximum usage is going to be 1.
Yeah. Now this is a really good thing if you've got multiple people using your Munich Mail account. and somebody set up this list, and it's like, oh yeah, that amount I've spent, oh yeah, I haven't got time to do that myself, I'll just use that last one. And actually the data in that last list isn't going to be correct. And I know it's going to sound a bit awful, but if you've got, it stops people being lazy, really, and it means that you have to have clean data every single time. So it works really well if you've got teams of people that you're setting this list up, and it's just one of those process controls to make sure that it's not going to be used, that basically you're then sending offers to people that aren't relevant because it's about the control of it and the processes.
Yep. So, and I'll just follow through on that then, just because Teresa would like to see a campaign sent.
Well, I can't just be me, guys. Everyone wants it. Well, say no if you want.
I'm going to go to the Facebook review request to send that campaign. So, sending it, list selection, there's our Hey Big Spenders list, going to include. And I think I'm going to have to give that a unique description because I've definitely sent it more than once. And there we go. Nice and easy as you would expect from there. So, but importantly, now I've sent that campaign. So if I go back to my lists and users, you can see we've now got this big flag to say the maximum number of times this list can be used has been reached. And if you want to extend it, you can get in touch with us and we'll do it. But it just shows you how that
absolutely. It was worth it.
Okay.
I'm happy now.
I'm sorry.
We're getting business everywhere because we've got all these emails coming.
So essentially, that's our user targeting based on data and behavior. But now we've sent a few campaigns. Under your targeting options, you'll have new ones, new options, and that includes your campaigns here. So this is a bit of a different modal. It's a bit slightly more confusing, but we set up a few weeks ago an automation that made decisions based on did people click links or not click links, or open emails or not open emails. If you don't want to do that in an automated fashion, you can still achieve the same results manually using this screen. And you see you've got these options up here. So you can see people who were sent a specific campaign or not, people who opened a campaign, people who clicked on a campaign or not. By default, in this list, it will go to every campaign sent. However, you can also filter it down. There's not much we want to do because we've only sent campaigns in this for about 3 weeks. But if I wanted to say do campaigns sent in the last 30 days, filter it down. And then I've got these controls here that I can say, well, I want to send people who said that one. That one.
I'm doing this now because I can't actually.
Yeah, it's quite small, really. I don't know if I can.
I'm really struggling to see that on my laptop.
Trying to find the zoom button. Zoom.
Oh, that's better. That's much better. Much better. Thank you.
Cool. So yeah, it's a big old screen, and now that I've zoomed in, I can't actually navigate on it, but you can see some different options in it. So yeah, this is a really handy tool for doing, again, those moment in time segmentations based on recent campaign behavior. If it's something that you regularly want to do, I'd suggest doing it through automation.
See, I wouldn't argue the point. I don't, because argue is the wrong word, but I would actually say, well, this is really good if you want to, if people, it's almost like you're bringing them into your funnel. So you might have sent multiple campaigns to the same people, but you only want, there's a specific thing that you want to do. You know that these people have now opened this campaign. You know that they've clicked the link, and you know they're interested in your products or services. So you want to send an email to those people that you warm them up effectively. So now you want to send a campaign just to those warmed up people, and and it's just sending them down the funnel. So that's why but there's other uses as well.
But either way, it's data is relevant moment in time.
100%. Yeah, absolutely.
So so yeah, that's how we would use that. Now the other thing though is, let's say, just another handy thing that is useful to know about the segmentation. If you're doing particularly complex targeting, and you need to do it fairly regularly, but you can't be bothered going in and going, I want to choose user data, this, campaigns, that, tags, this, that. What you can do is actually save that profile. And what you'll see here is I've got all these different unnamed profiles here straight in the listen users targeting screen. And they've got default names, but let's say I know that this time next month, I'm going to be searching for people again with big spenders. So I can rename this as my Hey Big Spenders targeting profile. Save changes in my targeting screen. There it is. Next month, I can just click on that. It's already pre-configured. I can just scroll down to the bottom, hit count users, and it saves me having to put all those different criteria in again. So that's another quite handy
feature. I
feature.
think that's really useful. And because that's really useful, I didn't do it too quickly at all, but do you want to just do that again?
Okay,
Just
sure.
because I think that was, I'm sitting there going, I didn't realize we could do that. Can you do it again?
Okay,
That's
so
really good.
every time you do any targeting, it will by default save it under the listen users targeting screen. It will give it this horrible, frankly useless default name. So if you want to save it to use it again, and I'll do it on this one, I can just click on it, and under the name section, and what was this one? Yeah. This was our favorite people. Favorite lipstick shade in red. So I can just give it a name that I like that will remind me what it is. Hit save changes, and then under targeting.
When you go back into it next time, you can just do the count button.
Yeah.
And it changes.
Yes.
As the data will have changed.
Exactly.
If you've uploaded different data, you might upload this data. I'm just looking, sorry, Isabel's given a message. Can you use the same targeting list but then modify some of the fields, like the dates? I'm asking, as this could save some time, but there may be some fields that are no longer relevant or the information we want to gather. Charlotte's obviously saying yes. Yeah. I'm going to let you carry on with that, Charlotte.
So again, so let's say, so if I want to now, I'm in my people with favourite lipstick shade in red. I could change the criteria here, but actually, if I want to still keep my red one, but I just want to make a small change, I can hit duplicate.
Where did you hit duplicate?
Sorry, up here.
Yeah, sorry.
Up
it's
here.
Like your mouse is there, you click before you.
It's because I'm a ninja.
Your ninja abilities are like useful.
No.
I was like, where's that?
They're like incredibly
where was that cursor? Where did she hit?
They're incredibly useful for me, but very useless for everybody else.
Very useful for us as a team, but yeah.
Yeah. So okay, in this instance, what I've done is I'm changing it to be people with a favourite lipstick shade in midnight. Click on that lipstick shade contains midnight.
And I think it's the date change as well, so you can have different dates in there. That's what it spells.
Yeah. Yes, yeah, it's so the same
say,
process.
Yeah, so it's the same. You could leave it with red, but you can say they've bought it between this date and that date.
Yeah.
Is that what you're saying, Isabel? I'm assuming that's what you mean. So it's like you can pick those people out between their own dates and just change those dates in that same list. So what you've done though is recreate the list. Is that right?
Yeah. So
So I'm going to stop asking you to clarify.
Okay. I'm glad you said that.
I'm glad to think it's clear as well. Thank you.
Okay, so but yeah, basically I duplicated it, or you can overwrite the original. But either way, because I duplicated it, I've now got two, one for red and one for midnight. Okay. So for you, Isabel, I imagine if you're just looking to update the dates, I wouldn't duplicate it. I'd just overwrite the original. Okay, so from my perspective, I've covered everything that's on my list of things to cover. In an erratic and enthusiastic order, we're on to questions.
Yeah, questions. I only because obviously you've got to type your questions, so rather than just sit here in silence, I'll talk because I don't like silence if you haven't worked that out yet. I think, you know, the questions, maybe you want to put them in here, or the questions could be that you want to send them to either Charlotte or myself, and I would imagine it's Charlotte. Charlotte is the techie person. I am the marketing person. So it could be like, I'm thinking of ways how to do that, because we're not just here to help you with your emails. We can help you with how you're marketing to your customers and how you're hitting your business goals. You know, that's the whole beauty of Munich, really. We've got a really, you know, we've got a fab team here, not just Charlotte and I. We've got a whole fab team that we can help you with that. So I'm going to put my email address in here just in case. I'm sure everyone's got Charlotte's.
Oh, well, I hope so, because I don't actually know how to type into this.
I feel ever first time. Charlotte,
I don't know.
So if they take it, there's no questions coming up. What we're doing with this series of webinars, as I say, we are uploading them to our YouTube channel, and then they are getting shared out on social media. But what we're going to do next time, just so you know, is a hint. Yeah, that's really good. Mark's just saying, I may have questions, but I'm going to rewatch the replay and mess about in our account. Yeah, and then if you come across something, absolutely that is the perfect way to do it. Really, is to go in and have a look and see yourself and see how did they do that? Because I missed that bit of Charlotte mouse. Ninja cursor.
I'm really trying, guys.
Anyway, our next webinar, we haven't got the date yet, but we will be sending it out. Is going to be hints and tips. So it's things like, you know, what size photo should I be using? What should I think about if I know most of my users are opening it in a mobile? What should I be aware of? All sorts of little things that possibly don't come under titles like this, but they're there and they're useful. So what we would ask is, if you've got anything that you think, well, actually, yeah, how'd you do that? I only want to know that. It's a one-off thing. Just let us know, and we will cover them. But we will have others how to use the system as well.
Yeah, I think the one next time will be specifically geared towards achieving exceptional results in the unbox. Not that all of them aren't geared towards that, but things like, you know, little tips you may not be aware of to help avoid spam filters.
Yes, absolutely. I'm just thinking of alt tags.
Yes,
alt tags are really important, and it's amazing. I generally stick with customers that are sending emails, and I'm like, you haven't filled in your alt tags, and they're like, what's that? We're doing things like that, and what you should put in there and how they work.
Yeah, but if you've got specific things that you think might be helpful, or things that you might be able to add to that type of webinar, like your own hints and tips.
Yeah, there's a question. That's why I'm looking at. There's a question as well asked. I guess we can also use this to clean lists, right? Like using again as a nod, like using the targeting to filter users out and then move them to the right other list that we want to be in. No, it's not silly, because it's absolutely spot on.
Yeah,
absolutely spot on, Isabel. It's not silly at all.
Yeah,
I don't think there's ever a silly question. No. I'm always a person in the room that will ask the question that they think, and then everyone, oh, glad you asked that, because I was thinking the same thing. Yeah, absolutely, clean the list.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah,
really, really handy way of doing things.
Yeah, right. Are we done?
Yeah, I'm pretty happy. If everyone else is happy with
we're happy.
Everything, we'll leave you to get on with your Wednesday afternoon. So thank you so much for sticking with us despite the sort of semi-late change of time.
I know, yeah, appreciate it. Yeah, sorry about that. All right then, guys. Well, we'll see you next time. We'll let you know when that is going to be. And yeah.